another timeout session with Prophetess Rev Sabrina Marie, coming back to you to talk to you about something super important that the Lord has now laid on my heart again and again and again, and I just got to get to it. It has now been the third day, so I must talk about it. And it's the importance of a wife, and why being a good wife is so important, and how important it is to God. For one, we must talk about, if you feel, if you know that the marriage in which you're in, God has joined together, you owe God with how you treat his child, which is your husband. God is not pleased with a lot of wives and how they're treating their husbands, and they're calling themselves Christians. No, you should be ashamed of yourself. So I must get that out of the way. So number one, first, you must know the importance of a husband. The importance of a man that's sent by God, that is a good husband, okay? We're not talking, none of what I'm talking about are men sent from the devil. We are talking about men that are trying to live for God, that are doing the right thing, that are faithful, that are loving to their wives, not slapping you side of the head, not demoralizing you. But we're talking about good husbands right now, okay? And we're not talking about you upset because your husband may leave some socks here and there and he's not a perfect cleanup man or a perfect maid. That does not make him a bad husband. So let's get that out. Okay, so first, you must know the importance of having a covering. Okay, that husband that you have, that God has sent to be in your life, serves as a covering in your life, not just physically, as far as the things that can try to come and harm you in your house, but also spiritually. It's a big thing. It's a really big thing to have a husband. Okay. Now, as far as that covering, that's why it's so important for you to be a good wife, because a good wife prays for her husband. A good wife builds her husband up, not tear him down. That's in the word that I'm speaking about. The Bible speaks of, a foolish wife tears her husband down. So we have to make sure that we're not being a foolish wife. Okay. All right. You have to know how important your job as a wife is. Second, which is super important, you must know that being a wife is one of the, Lord, it's the second most important assignment and purpose in your life. Once you decide who you're going to marry and that man is linked to you by God. That is the second most important purpose in your life. That's huge. That's huge. Why? Because that is your assignment. Your assignment at that point is to build him, is to encourage him, is to motivate him, is to be there for him, to pray for him. Because you're not just talking about him. You're talking about everything linked to him. You're talking about a husband. And when a husband, we're talking about legacy. We're talking about generations. What you do and how you treat that husband affects not just him, but it affects generations. Now you let that soak in. Just for a moment. You let that soak in. How important that is. And the assignment that's put on you. Wow. You are held responsible and you are held accountable by God in how you treat his child. So you have to be careful when you're saying, hey, I want a husband, but look, some of you don't even want to sleep with your husband. You're not even doing the basics. Come on. Some of you are so wanting to push your husband out. You want to say he's a bad man, because he doesn't wash the dishes. You want to say he's a bad man, and this man is doing the best that he can. So if you want him to wash the dishes, you gotta know how to talk to him, how to treat him. Just the same way some of you, it's amazing how You can give so much respect to everybody, but at home you don't know how to give respect to the king that's supposed to be your king under God. Come on. If you know how to shut your mouth when it comes to your coworkers, you say, hey, I'm going to let them live. The person at the grocery store who do something, they cut you, somebody hit you with a basket, you let them live. The person who cut you off in the traffic, you let them live. But at your home with your king, he can't sneeze hard and you all over him. This message is for some of you wives who have good husbands. Shame on you if you're not treating your husband the way he should be treated, because God is holding you accountable. That's what I'm hearing. God is holding you accountable. Do you know what you do and how you treat that man can affect how he treats you? Now, like I said, we're not talking about the bad ones out there. We're talking about decent men who want to be a husband. Some of us wives, some of you wives are being too hard on your husbands. That's what the Lord wants me to tell you. You're looking for perfection. Why? Because you do not really know him. You do not really know the Lord. Your relationship with the Lord is not strong enough. So what you're doing is you're putting so much pressure on a human being that you should not be doing. Thirdly, it's bigger than you. The third most important thing is it is bigger than you. If you, it's bigger than you. You have to realize, some battles are just not worth fighting. Okay? Some battles are not worth fighting. So you have to say, hey, I'm not going to fight this battle. I'm going to leave this one alone. Because I know that if I get into it, this situation is gonna be bad. Why should I mention to my husband when I'm seeing he had a rough day at work? Why should I come to him with something so petty like he left the socks on the floor? Would you come to the judge? Would you come to a courtroom? Would you come to a police officer? Would you come to your boss with the same type of attitude that you come to your king at your house with? This is how you will know how you're treating your husband. Because some of you are like, I want to know, am I doing it because I think I'm doing a good job? Guess what? That's how you'll know. If you treat your husband with more respect than anybody else, that means you're doing it right. That means you're doing it right. But this message was so that you can know that God is holding you accountable with how you treat his child, because it's so much bigger than him. You are affecting generations. This is why we talk about generational curses, and we'll talk about that on another day, because that's a whole nother topic all by itself. But I just wanted to stop in the midst of this, in the midst of this game, and come in with a timeout so that you'll know the importance of being a wife. And your calling is bigger than you wearing a ring and saying, I have a husband. All right. Come on, wives, bring it. Thank you for another timeout session with Prophetess Sabrina Marie. Y'all leave y'all comments. Let me know what you're thinking. God bless you.